Adam Young of Owl City is an absolute musical genius, and I think he is totally underrated. Sure, one of his albums went platinum, and he's got nearly 9 million monthly Spotify listeners. But when you compare that to the 50 million that Ed Sheeran has, and around 20 million that Blink-182 have, how does Adam Young not have even more? I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't that the guy who did the cheesy 2009 hit Fireflies? Or that song with Carly Rae Jepsen a few years ago? Both of which sounded like they were made using just a laptop and a keyboard. And you know what? They very well may have been. But Adam Young is actually one of the most talented, genius, and unique songwriters I've ever come across. And a lot of people don't realize his true potential and what's going on behind the scenes. Here are a few reasons why Adam Young is an absolute musical genius. And of course, guys, if you enjoy these music reports and music reviews, please do hit the subscribe button. It is the most helpful thing that you can do for my channel. Adam is a multi-instrumentalist. When he performs live, he'll play the guitar, the synthesizers, percussions, drum, xylophone. He'll switch between instruments. During a song, he'll use loop pedals. Check out this video here. He'll walk onto the stage alone, start playing the bass line or the percussion, then he'll add the rhythm section to it, then he'll add a guitar loop, perhaps the lead section, then he might even do a vocal loop. He's an incredible performer, and he's extremely competent at all of the instruments that he plays, but particularly the guitar and the piano. He also records all of his own sound effects. Not many people know this, but at his home studio, he'll create all of the sound effects for his songs using random objects. He'll create the sound for wind or rain using things like bicycle tires and coats. And honestly, it's not just the fact that I think he can write an absolute brilliant song and has a voice which is just as good as Ed Sheeran's. And I'm using Ed Sheeran as the reference point here because Ed Sheeran is huge. And yes, he's an incredible songwriter. And yes, he can play many different instruments. And yes, he performs live very well. And yes, he has a very, very good voice. But Adam Young has all of these things as well. His collaborations are fantastic. And they're very clever as well. Not just people like Carly Rae Jepsen and Hanson. Adam has also worked with companies such as DreamWorks, Disney, Warner Brothers. This is a fantastic business move because not only does his voice and his songwriting appeal to these type of family-friendly films where they're looking for cheesy, upbeat electronic pop music with a soft voice, but the royalties and paychecks for these kind of projects are immense. You write a song for Disney, they're going to pay you well. That film does well, you're going to get a lot of royalty checks. And considering Wreck-It Ralph did pretty well at the box office and got itself a sequel, Adam can just do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. He can just hang out, make music, do a tour here and there. He has the most stress-free musical life, it seems. He only tours every few years, in fact. Over the last decade, he's only done about 2 or 3 major tours, which is pretty cool as a lot of bands heavily rely on touring to get their income. Kiss especially, like no one really cares about their albums over the last 20 years. Instead, playing stadiums, this is where their primary income come from. They're a live band. But it's evident with not only Owl City, but also his other projects, such as his acoustic guitar project, Sky Sailing, and his composing as well. He composes music, that he doesn't have to be a touring band. He can do it all from his home studio. And that brings me on to the next point. The guy has a home studio. This is a fantastic business move if you want to record other artists for extra income. But why it's so important for him is he blew up via things such as MySpace, iTunes, and MySpace. And we're in the age right now of Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. You don't really have to rent out a studio, record an album, and then sell that album at the record store anymore. Adam has, in his house, an incredible studio where he can just go whenever he wants, record what he wants, and instantly put it on his YouTube channel, on Spotify, or on iTunes. He doesn't have to rent out a studio. He doesn't have to do any of the overhead work. He's got a studio right there. He's saving a lot of money in the long run, no doubt. But it's also the fact that there's no time constraints. A lot of people when they're recording an album, they have to fly from, say, New York to LA, or from Portland to LA, or Portland to New York. They have to stay there for a week. They have to get a hotel, or they have to stay at the engineer's house or at the producer's house. Add to that the cost of flying, and not an easy feat. But Adam's got a studio right there. He can do it whenever he wants, and he can do whatever he wants. The guy can play every instrument. The guy knows his way around a soundboard, and the guy knows how to create sound effects. This is genius level music making, guys. And final reason, when he first signed with Universal Music way back in 2008, 2009, initially they wanted him to be the next sort of major pop artist / DJ. They had this idea that he was going to be some sort of Skrillex type person or some major mainstream pop solo artist. And if you listen to Owl City's album Cinematic, the first track, Fiji Water, he actually briefly mentions this experience about flying to New York and meeting with the record label executives. They had a bit of a disagreement because I'm sure that Adam wanted to stay integral to his vision. Adam doesn't write songs about meaningless things. He writes songs with a lot of meaning. He also doesn't write songs which necessarily appeal to everyone because he has so much integrity. If you listen to songs like The 5th of July, which is about his mother giving birth to him, or My Everything, which is about Christianity, he writes beautiful songs about things that he really genuinely cares about. He'll write a song about going on vacation to a certain part of the United States. He'll write a song about his dad. He'll write a song about suicide. The guy really puts so much meaning into his lyrics. And every song has a unique theme to it. There are some songs which are piano heavy. There are some songs which are upbeat and just fun, such as When Can I See You Again? Or Good Time. There are stripped back songs which have lots of acoustic guitar melodies. And there are ballads like Vanilla Twilight. The guy just doesn't seem to care what people think about him. He just makes amazing, beautiful music which people can relate to. He'll write what he wants, he'll make what he wants. And I respect that so much, as so many artists over the last 20 years have pandered to their audience. They've changed their style to get more radio play. They'll write songs so that their albums chart better. They'll make a hit so that they can make it to #1 on Billboard, but then the rest of the album sounds absolutely nothing like that hit they made. Fireflies was huge. Good Time was big. Vanilla Twilight, of course. And this is a good lesson for life. It's always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself and believe in yourself and follow your vision. Don't always try and please others. Sure, you can market to a niche. Sure, you can have an audience in mind. And sure, you can have something which you think that other people want. But at the same time, he's doing what makes him happy. And isn't that just all what we want in life? I respect him so much for that.